Welcome back guys. Optiscaler mod now supports XeSS frame generation. In my previous video I showed you how to use different inputs for frame generation source required for enabling XeSS and FSR frame generation. In this video I'll directly show you how to inject XeSS frame generation into Alan Wake 2, Final Fantasy 7 and The Witcher 3. I'll be combining XeSS frame generation with DLSS for Upscaler. We'll be testing these games on my Windows PC that has a Ryzen 5700X 3D processor and an RTX 2070 Super GPU. You need to use the latest test build of Optiscaler in order to use XeSS frame gen. It's version 0.9.0 preview 1 available on Optiscaler's Discord server. Just click on this blue link here. I'll kick things off with Alan Wake 2, Epic Games version of the game. If we use Nukem 9's FSR frame generation mod in this game, some ghosting occurs around a character model during fast visual motion. This ghosting effect was not present in the older versions of the game after disabling the in-game lens distortion setting. But in the latest version of the game, even after disabling lens distortion setting, some ghosting can be seen. However, XeSS frame generation does not exhibit this ghosting effect, but it does cause our gun to flicker. This flickering effect will be more aggressive at lower base FPS values. If your base FPS is close to 60, minor flickering will occur around the gun's barrel during fast visual motion. The game supports Streamline version 2.7, so I'll be using DLSSG via Streamline as the input for frame generation source and set frame generation output to XeSS frame gen. Enable DLSS frame generation from the in-game setting. This way, we won't be required to deal with Hudfix. Game's interface should not flicker and smoothing effect of XeSS frame gen should work properly. Even XeSS low latency mode will work properly on Nvidia GPUs. Open your Epic Games library, click on the three dots below the game's box art, click on manage, click on the folder icon here. This is the game's installed directory. Here look for Streamline files, sl.dll, highlight any one of them. Version 2.7 is supported by the game. I've installed the latest GeForce Game Ready driver version 581.08. Now when you override DLSS Upscaler via Nvidia app, latest version of DLSS Upscaler will be used, that is 310.3.0. I'll do this for all of the games. Graphics. Click on the three dots here, click on refresh. It will show you all of the games installed on your PC. Alan Wake 2, there it is. Scroll down until you find DLSS override model preset setting. Click on the pencil icon next to it. Select this option. Use different settings for each DLSS technology. Click on the drop down bar below super resolution and select latest from here. Apply. I have already applied these settings for all of the games. Witcher 3. Quickly do it. Already applied. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. Same. Just need to set the render preset to K in order to activate the transformer model of DLSS 4. I'll verify the Upscaler's details using DLSS Debug overlay. We'll activate the overlay by executing this registry code provided by Emos. Copy the lines. Create a new text file anywhere on your PC. Name it anything you want. I'll just name it as overlay. Change the extension from .reg to .txt to .reg. Hit enter. Yes. Select the file, right click, open with Notepad. Paste the lines here. Click on file, click on save, close and run this registry file. If we want to disable the DLSS debug overlay, replace the number 4 here with 0. Click on file, save, close and run this file. I'll revert the change as I want to enable the DLSS debug overlay. Right click, open. OK. Now I'll install Optiscaler mod in Alan Wake 2. Open the mods archive file. Copy the highlighted files. AMD_Fidelity FX_TX12 is for FSR, Upscaler and frame generation. DX12 mode. Fake NV API files are required even on Nvidia GPUs. Fake NV API will replace Reflex with XeSS low latency mode. XeSS files. libxcll for low latency mode. XeSS for super resolution upscaler. XeSS_FG for XeSS frame gen. DX11 version is not required. Only Intel Arc based GPUs natively support XeSS Upscaler in DirectX 11 mode. Optiscaler.dll, Optiscaler.ini. Copy. Need to paste them in the game's install directory. Click on the three dots below the game's box art, manage. Click on the folder icon here. Paste everything in this directory. Just change the name of optiscaler.tll file to dxgi.tll. That's it. I'll be using Nvidia's performance overlay to show you the performance metrics. Afterburner and RTSS can affect the mod's functioning. Optiscaler even comes with its own performance overlay, so I'll be using that as well. For some reason this game will crash at startup if you directly set the frame generation source to DLSSG via Streamline and frame generation output to XeFG. In order to bypass this crash, you just need to set frame generation source to OptiFG Upscaler first. I'll highlight this issue. Launch the game. Display mode set to borderless. XeSS frame generation does not support exclusive full screen mode. Windowed mode is also supported. Resolution Full HD using DLSS Upscaler, its quality preset. VSYNC is off. Motion blur, film grain, lens distortion effects disabled. Using the medium graphics preset with ray tracing off. Here we are in. Open Optiscaler menu by pressing the insert keyboard key. From this drop down bar, make sure DLSS Upscaler is selected. Check out the DLSS debug overlay in the bottom left corner. DLSS auto exposure setting is off. Need to enable it. This setting helps in reducing ghosting around the objects in the environment. Also fixes the texture shimmering effect produced by shiny objects. Just enable auto exposure setting under init flag section. It's on. And the preset used is K version of the Upscaler 310.3.0. Base resolution and upscale resolution values are shown here. Frame generation is disabled. First I'll show you the base game performance. Also enable Optiscaler's performance overlay. Expand this setting. FPS overlay. Check this setting. FPS overlay enabled. Overlay type. Full plus graph. Here you go. Save and close. Yeah, here FPS is within a range of 60 to 65. Check out my gun. Smearing effect. In-game effect. No ghosting, crosshair. Okay, I'll just use my flare. Check out Alan's shadow. Yeah, it's flickering. Again, it's an in-game effect, not related to Optiscaler mod. This flickering will be present even after enabling XeSS frame generation. The only way to fix it is by enabling ray tracing. Now I'll show you how to enable XeSS frame generation. Click on the drop down bar next to FG source. Don't select DLSSG via Streamline as the option, otherwise game will crash at startup. First select OptiFG Upscaler. Click on the drop down bar next to FG output and select XeFG. Click on save INA here, close. We need to restart the game. Launch. We are in. Open Optiscaler menu. Now click on the drop down bar next to FG source and select DLSSG via Streamline as the option. Click on save INA, close, restart the game. This time it won't crash. Launch. Menu loaded up, the game did not crash. Go to graphics settings. From here, enable DLSS frame generation. Setting got unlocked. Set it to 2 times. Rest of the settings are left as they are. There's Alan. Just open Optiscaler menu. Check the setting active under frame generation XeFG. Current Streamline FG state on. Check out Optiscaler's frame time graph. It became thick. Yeah, this means XeSS frame gen is working properly. And check out the current method value under frame rate XCLL. I'll apply an FPS cap. Set it to 50. Apply limit. Let's see what happens. Yeah, FPS got capped at 50. It's working. Remove the FPS cap. Apply limit. Click on save INA here. I'll just use Intel's XeSS Inspector app to verify the status of XeSS frame generation and low latency mode. Run XeSS Inspector app. Click on show all processes here. Look for your game. In my case, it's Alan Wake 2. There it is. Double click. XeSS FG context. It's running. Frame generation. Version is shown here. XCLL context. Low latency mode. It's on. See. Back to the game. Nvidia's performance overlay is not working properly, not showing the FPS count. You can see the FPS and Optiscaler's performance overlay. I can observe the added amount of smoothness, 100 FPS. Crosshair, it's not flickering. Games UI, it's also not flickering. Smearing effect is present around my gun, in-game effect. not observing any ghosting around it, the gun during fast visual motion. Okay, some minor ghosting occurs around the gun's barrel, nothing extreme. If you use Nukem 9's mod in this game, ghosting will be produced even with lens distortion setting disabled. I'll use my flare. Shadow is flickering. Again, it's an in-game effect, not related to Opti XeSS frame generation. 93 to 100 FPS. Now I'll enable ray tracing. It will tank the performance but fix the broken shadows. My GPU can't handle it. Ray tracing low. Back to the game. FPS dropped to around 46. I'm recording the video using OBS. Without it here I get close to 55 FPS. I'll be honest, I was expecting the latency to be much worse than this. It's manageable, especially if you're playing the game using a gamepad, but latency is definitely present, expected. Intel itself recommends using XeSS frame generation with a minimum of 40 as the base FPS. I'll quickly show you the debug view. Open Optiscaler menu, check the setting debug view. Purple sidebars will show up. They won't show up at all if XeSS frame gen is not working. And this happens in some Unreal Engine games in which we select DLSS as the upscaler and select OptiFG upscaler as the frame generation source. Disable debug view, and this is show detected UI setting. Games UI pink in color. Now I'll test the next game, Witcher 3. This game uses Streamline version 1. Quickly highlight this. Open the game's install directory. Open bin folder, x64_tx12 folder. Highlight any of the Streamline files, sl.dll files, version 1. So I'll be using OptiFG upscaler as the frame generation source. Now I'll install Optiscaler in Witcher 3. Open the mod menu, copy the highlighted files, same files that I used in Alan Wake 2. It's the same process. Copy. Steam version of Witcher 3. Select the game in your Steam library, right click, manage, click on browse local files, open bin folder, open x64_tx12 folder, paste everything here, replace, just change the name of optiscaler.dll file to txgi.dll. That's it. Enabling hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting is not a mandatory requirement for using XeSS frame generation, but if you have an RTX GPU, it's recommended to enable this setting. Right click anywhere on the desktop, click on display settings, click on graphics, click on advanced graphics, enable hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting from here. If your monitor supports variable refresh rate, enable the setting as well. Now enable VSYNC from Nvidia control panel. Do it for all of the games. Click on manage 3D settings, click on program settings from this drop down bar, select Alan Wake 2, scroll down to the end, enable VSYNC from here. Next we have Witcher 3, there it is, enable VSYNC, apply. Next we have Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, VSYNC on. My monitor is G-Sync compatible. I'll enable the corresponding settings for it. Click on setup G-Sync here. Enable the following settings. Enable G-Sync, G-Sync compatible. Enable for full screen mode. Enable settings for the selected display model. I'll also enable G-Sync compatible indicator. This step is optional. Click on display here and check this setting, G-Sync compatible indicator. Graphics settings, using the high preset, ray tracing off. Upscaler, set it to DLSS using its quality preset. Post-processing effects, disable all of them. Everything set to high. Display mode borderless window, very important for using XeSS frame gen. Full HD resolution. No FPS cap applied. Reflex is on. No access to DLSS frame generation. Here we are in. Open Optiscaler menu by pressing the insert keyboard key. Make sure DLSS is selected from this drop down bar. Presets are overridden externally via Nvidia app. First I'll show you the base game performance. Enable Optiscaler's performance metrics. Full. Oh no, I attacked the cards. Okay, here FPS is close to 100. Image quality is looking so sharp, so clean, all thanks to DLSS for Upscaler. Geralt's chainmail armor. The fine textures are not producing any shimmering effect. Now I'll enable XeSS frame generation. Open mod menu. Just click on the drop down bar next to FG source and select OptiFG Upscaler. Click on the drop down bar next to FG output and select XeFG. Just click on save आना है, close, restart the game. Play. Here we are in open Optiscaler mod menu. Now check the setting active under XeFG. We need to deal with Hudfix when using OptiFG Upscaler as the FG source. First I'll run the game without Hudfix. Yeah, FPS increased to around 160. Can observe the added amount of smoothness, but game's interface is flickering. Check out the sprint and jump commands. When I move the camera around, these commands, the interface for these commands flicker. I'll equip my bow. Yeah, it's crosshair. Just wanted to show you that it's flickering. See. So I'll enable Hudfix. Set the limit value to 1. This should work. Equip my bow. Animation quality is still looking smooth and the crosshair is not flickering. Game's UI it's not flickering as well. FPS 160 to 170. Geralt shadow not flickering. When my character is close to the left edge of the display, no double images are produced. These images are produced when using FSR frame generation. Geralt swords, they are not producing any ghosting effect during fast visual motion. Happens in the case of LSFG. Quickly show you the debug view. Here purple sidebars are present. XeSS frame generation is working. Do not enable show detected UI settings, otherwise the game will crash. This is for OptiFG Upscaler as the FG source. Quickly run Intel Inspect app. Open it. Click on show all processes. Look for Witcher 3, the game which is running in the background. There it is, double click. XeSS frame generation running, status, version. XeSS low latency. Mode is on, working. So now I'll test the next game. Need to use a specific build of Optiscaler mod for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's available on Optiscaler GitHub. I'll give its direct download link in the description of the video, Google Drive. This is the build that I'm talking about. First just install the preview 1 test build. Open its archive file. From here just do not copy this DLL file optiscaler.dll. Copy optiscaler.ini, XeSS files, fake NV API files, and AMD underscore fidelity FX underscore TX12 file. Copy. Open the game's install directory. It's the Steam version of the game. End folder, binaries folder, Win64 folder. Paste everything here. This game does not support DLSS or FSR frame generation, so I'll use the in-game DLSS Upscaler to activate Optiscaler mod. Now open Optiscaler's archive file, the mod build which fixes Final Fantasy VII. Just copy optiscaler.dll file, paste it in the game's install directory where you install Optiscaler and binaries Win64 right here. Change its name to txti.dll. We are ready to run the game. In-game settings, set display mode to borderless full screen, full HD resolution. This game's FPS is capped at 120. Display technology, I am using VRA, a monitor supports it. I'll be using DLAA, won't be using DLSS Upscaler. It makes the game quality look a bit soft. Texture resolution set to medium, rest of the settings set to high. Anti-aliasing DLSS. That's it. Here we are in, I'm at the beach. Open Optiscaler menu by pressing the insert key, increase its size. Click on the drop down bar next to menu UI scale, value set to 1. From this drop down bar, make sure DLSS Upscaler is selected. Version 310.3.0, render preset K. Okay, auto exposure setting is off, enable it. Check this setting, auto exposure under init flag section. First I'll show you the base game performance, no frame generation. Save and close. Yeah, here FPS is close to 75. This game suffers from traversal stutters, 70 to 75. I'll also enable Optiscaler's performance overlay, full plus graph, frame time graph, flat line, as I haven't enabled XeSS frame generation yet. I'll just do that now. Open mod menu, click on the drop down bar next to FG source, select OptiFG Upscaler as the option, click on the drop down bar next to FG output and select XeFG as the option. Click on save INI and restart the game. Play. We are in. Open Optiscaler mod menu. Now check this setting, active, under frame generation XeFG. Yeah, look at the frame time graph, thick. This means XeSS frame generation is working. Haven't enabled Hudfix setting yet. FPS increased to around 110. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. Seems to be working properly, but I am observing some flickering around the game's interface. Check out the minimap. When I spin the camera, flickers occasionally. Just pause the game. Yeah, check out the interface here. The options, when I spin the camera, the options flicker. The text, I tried enabling Hudfix setting, but it was not able to fix this issue. Hudfix on, limit value 1. Increasing the limit value did not help as well, see. But XeSS frame generation's flickering intensity is not as aggressive as what we have seen in the case of FSR frame generation. Subtitles in the cutscene can flicker occasionally, as you can see here. Nothing extreme. I'll skip it, show you some combat. Back to the game. Game's interface, it's flickering, see. Again, the flickering intensity is not very aggressive. It's up to you if you want to use the mod or not. XeSS frame gen is definitely better than FSR frame gen in this game, as it produces less graphical artifacts, less aggressive flickering of the interface. 120 FPS here, not bad. Quickly run XeSS inspect tab, verify the status of XeSS features, show all processes, look for Final Fantasy 7, there it is, Rebirth, double click. XeSS frame gen running, XeLL context, low latency mode is on, it's also working, so that's good to see. This is with OptiFG, Upscaler frame generation source. Before ending the video, I'll show you how to disable DLSS debug overlay. Just edit the overlay.reg file that we created earlier, open it using notepad, replace the number 4 here with 0, click on file, click on save, close, run this registry file, click on yes. Okay, that's it with the video guys. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.